Welcome back to our series looking at the claims of the Jehovah's Witness publication, Revelation, its grand climax at hand. We are continuing our look at the doctrine of God's woman and how JWs come to their conclusion that the woman of Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, and the woman of Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 and 2 are the same, and that the woman is an organization of spirit creatures. We will not be able to get deep into any scholarship on Isaiah in this video. There is a lot to explain about the JW theology first. Chapter 2, paragraph 7 of Revelation, its grand climax at hand, ends with a mention of some verses of chapter 54 of Isaiah. Isaiah is an important book for Christians of all types because the prophecies in it are reinterpreted by the New Testament authors to claim that it predicts the coming of Jesus, among other things. In our last video, we talked about how the New Testament authors used typology, pesher, and midrashic reasoning to do this, and how Christians today, including Jehovah's Witnesses, still do this. Jehovah's Witnesses go further than many others, though. They read themselves and their history into the text, particularly in Isaiah chapter 54. JWs see Isaiah chapter 54 as having two fulfillments. The first fulfillment is as it was originally intended to be understood, a message to Israel about their restoration after the exile. The second fulfillment is as a prophecy about their own organization, applying the chapter symbolically to themselves as the modern fulfillment of God's woman. Let's examine the relevant verses of Isaiah 54 and what JWs say about them. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 1. The barren woman is God's symbolic heavenly organization, seen as unproductive before 1919 due to spiritual captivity. After 1919, it becomes fruitful with the rise of Jehovah's Witnesses. The sons are understood as spiritual children, the anointed remnant with the heavenly hope, and the great crowd with the earthly hope produced by Jehovah's woman-like organization. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 2. This reflects the worldwide expansion of their preaching work since 1919, as the tent grows to accommodate more people responding to their message. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5. Jehovah is the husband of the symbolic woman, his heavenly organization, guiding and protecting it as his possession. Isaiah chapter 54, verses 7 and 8. Jehovah abandoned the organization between 1914 and 1919 and allowed the leaders to be persecuted, but in 1919, the organization was cleansed and chosen to be God's representatives on earth. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 13. This supports their view of Jehovah's Witnesses being instructed through Bible education under the guidance of the governing body, which they see as directed by Jehovah. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17. Jehovah's Witnesses believe this verse guarantees divine protection for the organization against legal bans, persecution, and criticism. They cite this to explain their survival and growth despite opposition. It is worth reading the chapter, The Barren Woman Rejoices, from another JW publication, Isaiah's Prophecy, Light for All Mankind, Volume 2, in order to get the full idea of this theology. On this channel, although we occasionally venture into areas where scholarship plays a smaller role, we won't be attempting to dismantle these interpretations in great detail. That kind of work has already been done extensively, and there are many resources online for those who want to explore it further. Instead, we'll simply point out that any trained biblical scholar would immediately recognize these interpretations as classic examples of eisegesis, reading into the text ideas that were never there. All of these theological constructs were developed after Rutherford's release from prison in 1919, and they rely on taking his personal and organizational experiences and retroactively forcing them into the biblical narrative. But what gives them the idea that they should read Isaiah 54 as having two fulfillments at all? For that, we will need to look at how it was used in Galatians chapter 4, verse 26. We'll look at that in our next video. Don't forget to see the description for more resources.